Oh, Mars, P Mars. Yeah, in psychology, actually, I can. So, does if you're familiar with like the arguments against natural selection by Fodor, you can actually say the same thing about behaviorism. So let me just kind of present that briefly. Like, okay, a typical. Oh, this you actually brought it up.
Yo, PMars, Cartesian here wants to debate you.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
You were just talking about you want a Presup, right?
Yeah, but P Mars is like he's like bottom of the barrel. He's not worth talking to.
I'm horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
autism.
that's great.
I don't. I don't know if you have autism or not. Even if you did it, I don't think that'd be a bad thing. But
Why do you call yourself monkeyboy?
Good question. Do you want to debate Cartesian?
Not really. I think I already have. Do you guys have a rebuttal
yeah,
for
what?
Presup?
Sorry?
what?
Do you guys have an actual rebuttal to Presup or tag?
What's the argument that you want me to respond to? Just like laid out in premise, conclusion.
It doesn't work best that way because the syllogism isn't sound in itself. It needs supplementation.
So then I'm not sure. Like, what exactly is it that you want me to respond to?
Well, the argument is saying that the Christian worldview can account for the preconditions of intelligibility, and your worldview can't. So,
Yeah,
how would you respond to that?
So I assume when you say your worldview can't, you're saying it's logically impossible. And then my response would be, okay, well, I see no reason to think it's logically impossible. What would be the contradiction?
There'd be endless contradictions.
Like what? Yeah, name one.
Well, there'd be like a performative contradiction in that.
No. A logical contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Why can't it be a performative contradiction?
Because when you say something is... Wait, via what?
It was either the D word that you said. Yeah, it had to be the D word. I'm just trying to say unalive. Yeah, I can bring you back up.
Dude, this platform is so stupid. Like, you can't even... Whatever.
Talk like a baby. It's not hard.
So anyway, because when you say something is logically impossible, a performative contradiction isn't actually a logical contradiction. What a performative contradiction is a case where you don't believe... It's like you're engaging in some action, but by merely engaging in that action, it entails that some proposition is true, and you reject that proposition as true. That's what a performative contradiction is. That's actually not a logical contradiction. But when you say something is logically impossible, you're saying it entails a logical contradiction.
When a performative contradiction would have to do with like the proposition would undermine its ability to justify itself, or it would undermine the meaning of the proposition, like a semantic contradiction, or there'd be a pragmatic contradiction, whereas like the proposition would undermine the ability to speak it or to.
Like here's an example of a performative contradiction. If I say I don't exist, in order for me to have said that, I had to exist, right? So that's a performative contradiction. But that's actually not. If I say I don't exist, the proposition I don't exist isn't logically contradictory. So my point is that a performative contradiction isn't actually a logical contradiction. But when you say something is logically impossible, you're saying that it entails a logical contradiction.
Well, I think it would it could be logically impossible where if like for logic to be possible, it requires a certain kind of a world. And
I don't understand that, because I take possibility to be an operator in modal logic that you can apply to a proposition. And I don't think logic is a proposition. That's no different from saying like cow is possible. But I just want to return to the original claim. Are you saying that there's something that's logically impossible in my view or not? Like, are you saying my view entails a contradiction?
Well, it would make logic impossible.
Are you saying so you're saying my view entails a contradiction or not?
Your view would defeat the defeat the possibility to have logic as like a starting.
Does my view entail a contradiction?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, what is the contradiction just in P and not P form?
It'd be like you assume the preconditions for intelligibility and you deny the preconditions for intelligibility. So
is it something like okay, so the preconditions for intelligibility are true and false or something like that?
I mean, it's you assume them and you deny them at the same time. That'd be a contradiction.
Okay, so then now I need to figure out, so I assume the preconditions for intelligibility, those are supposed to be a set of propositions. If we're saying there's a contradiction here, so what exactly are the propositions that make up the preconditions for intelligibility?
The claims of the Bible.
Okay, so then I'm not committed to so then you'd have to show me how I'm committed to the first part of the contradiction, because now you're saying that, okay, there's some claims in the Bible, and I affirmed them and denied them. So first, I want to know how am I affirming them. So let's be clear, which claims exactly?
The uniformity of nature.
Okay, so I affirmed that. Now, what's the next one?
What
is that all, or is there presumably you're saying there's more?
There'd be more. What do we have to do? Why can't we just do one?
Okay, let's go one at a time. So you're saying the contradiction here would be I affirm the uniformity of nature and I deny it. So I affirm it. How you get into me denying it?
Well, for uniformity of nature to be justified, we'd have to assume the claims of the Bible.
Okay, well, yeah. So you're saying it's logically impossible for nature to be uniform if the claims of the Bible or if the Christian story isn't true, right?
No, I'm saying you couldn't justify the uniformity of nature like rationally or empirically, and only the claims of the Bible could justify it. Yet you have to assume it to be
okay. Now, even if it were true, so by the way, first we'd have to figure out what we mean by justify. But let's actually suppose that's true. Let's say you aren't able to justify the uniformity of nature without the Bible in some way. That's actually irrelevant to there being a contradiction, because you're saying the contradiction is me both affirming and denying the uniformity of nature. I can affirm something even if it's unjustified. So what you'd have to show, that's actually not going to get you to showing the contradiction.
Well, to even have an intelligible experience, the preconditions for intelligibility have to be the case.
Yeah, but by that you just said you meant that you can't or you aren't able to justify them without the Bible or something.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm saying even if let's just hypothetically, I'm going to grant you that. I'm just going to grant that I'm not able to justify the uniformity of nature without accepting Christianity. Let's just grant that. Even if that's true, it's irrelevant because the contradiction was I affirm and deny the uniformity of nature. I can affirm the uniformity of nature without being justified in affirming it. So you showing that I'm not able to justify it is just irrelevant.
You couldn't affirm it if you deny the only way it could be possible.
Wait, hold up. Now you're saying something different. You didn't say that's the only way it's possible. You said that's the only way to justify it.
Holy fuck, dude.
In fact, I even asked you, are you saying it's logically impossible without Christianity? You said no. So if you say that you are saying that now, you're just contradicting yourself. Hello?
Right. So
right, yeah.
You can't rationally affirm the uniformity of nature, right?
Yeah, sure. So I'm willing to grant you for the sake of the argument that I can't rationally affirm it, I can't justify it, whatever, because all of that's irrelevant to what the contradiction is. Okay, the contradiction was I both affirm and deny it. I can affirm something without affirming it rationally. I can affirm something without being justified in affirming it. Okay, so what you need to show, I've already granted you I'm affirming it. You need to show how I'm denying it.
Yeah, because the Christian claims are the only way that we can make sense of the uniformity of nature, right? And so if you deny the Christian claims are going to be the preconditions to make sense of the uniformity of nature.
Okay, to be clear, you're saying that in my worldview somehow it's both true and false that the uniformity of nature principle is both true and false in my worldview. Okay, now you saying that I'm not able to justify the uniformity of nature isn't getting you to showing how that's both true and false in my worldview. Right now, what would help you do that is showing that my worldview isn't committed to Christianity, but the uniformity of nature is logically impossible without Christianity. But you denied that you're doing that. You already said, no, I'm not saying that.
So you
do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yes. No, I think you're denying. So the Christian claims are going to be necessary for the uniformity of nature, right?
Okay, hold up. Wait a second. By necessary, do you mean logically necessary?
Oh my God, dude.
Huh? You mean it's logically impossible for there to be uniformity of nature without Christianity being true?
Transcendentally necessary.
Okay, because you already know if you said logically necessary, you would be contradicting yourself. Now let me do it. I'll even go even further. I'm going to grant you that the Christian worldview is transcendentally necessary for the uniformity of nature. I'll grant you that, right? Because that's also irrelevant to the contradiction. The contradiction is on my worldview. It is both true and false that there is uniformity of nature. The only way you're going to get that is by showing that Christianity is logically necessary. So if you're talking about transcendental necessity, if that's something different from logical necessary, sorry, I'm stumbling here. If that's something different from logical necessity, I'll grant you it. Right? Because in order to show the contradiction, you'd have to show that it's logically necessary.
No.
Yes.
No, there's
Yeah,
performative.
that's how logical contradictions work. P Mars, come on, use your brain.
Yeah, but not all contradictions are logical. There's self.
You said it, but you said it was a logical contradiction,
Right.
which is saying you're saying it violates some law of logic. And now, if you're backpedaling off that, maybe we could explore some other avenues. But like, so to be clear, do you still take the view that it's logically impossible, or there's a logical contradiction?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's now saying I'm not able to justify it, saying I'm not able to rationalize it, and saying it's transcendentally necessary. None of those are going to get you to the logical contradiction. Okay. So let's just try again. The contradiction you're saying is that nature, the uniformity of nature, is both true and false. That's the contradiction you're saying is in my worldview. Okay. Now, I'm going to agree that it's true that there is uniformity of nature. Now, how are you getting to it being false?
But it doesn't matter that you agree, because according to your worldview, like, you couldn't have the uniformity of nature.
Yeah, that's the claim. That's the claim. So how are you getting to the negation?
So
like in my worldview.
Because how does the uniformity of nature, like, how do you account for that?
Questions aren't arguments, Mars. An argument is made up of propositions.
Yeah, so,
a question is not a proposition.
So to have intelligibility, we have to have the uniformity of nature has to be true, right? So my worldview can account for the uniformity of nature. Your worldview can't.
Hold up, but when you hold up, wait a second. Hold up. You're just all you need to get to is showing how the uniformity of nature is both true and false in my worldview. And by the way, we're treating uniformity of nature as like a proposition, the proposition that nature is uniform.
Because if your worldview is true, then it would be false, right?
Okay, yeah. So you want just now you just have to show that how my worldview entails that nature is not uniform. So what's the derivation?
I mean, you wouldn't be able to say that nature is uniform if your worldview.
Yeah, so just show how my worldview entails that nature isn't uniform.
Yeah, because in your worldview, you could only justify things like rationally or.
We're back to the error. We're back. Okay, let's flag this. So now we're gonna start. Now we're gonna start counting the errors. So this is error. So this is error number one. Error number one is that I've granted you that I can't justify it, and I've granted you I can't rationalize it, and I've granted you that Christianity is transcendentally necessary for it. I've already granted you all that. That's all irrelevant to there being that contradiction on my view. Okay. So anytime you return to this, we'll just call it error number one.
You believe it's true, but you can't like say that it's true, right?
Let's just grant that. Let's just grant that I believe it's true, but I can't justify it. So where's the contradiction?
That is the contradiction.
That's not a contradiction.
It's not true according to your worldview. But
you haven't done that. No, now you're repeating the claim. Okay, so how does the view entail that nature isn't uniform?
Because it's not true in your worldview.
Okay, that's repeating the claim. So how about this? We're just going to give 3 chances for you to actually show the entailment. And if you don't, you're just going to get kicked off. Okay, so chance number one. How does my worldview entail logically that the uniformity of nature is false?
I just told you.
Okay, chance number two. How does it entail logically that the uniformity of nature is false?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to give you the third chance, man. You're kicked. Come on. This is a horrible performance.
Can you rationally?
Come on, P-Mars, you're kicked. Boo. See you later.
That was great. So yeah, I knew it was a good idea to debate that numbskull.
You're right. That was actually a pretty good idea. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, he's not like those. He's more like a Joshua Pillows, where he actually, allows you to speak. He's not like Darth or that Josh dude I've talked with, or John dude.
Yeah, but the only way like a Presup can be successful is if you like P-Mars. Let me give you some tips. The only way this can work is if you don't let me speak. That's the only way like Presup can be even remotely successful.
I think I might end this live because I might talk with that one idiot on Discord. Also, you should try challenging another Presup. Because then I can have a collection of another Presup like Joshua. Then I can have like 2 videos, stitch them together.
I'm happy to talk to any whoever it is. I'll talk to them.
You haven't seen him from he's in 2 of my videos. He's one with I talk with him and another one with Amdir. You haven't seen either of them?
Wait, is the one where Amdir talked to him, is that the video where like this guy is like trying to like disagree with something that Amdir doesn't hold to, and then Amdir like said like you're arguing to the voices in your head?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that one. That guy seems pretty bad.
Yeah, you should talk with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to talk to Presups. By the way, yeah, so P-Mars, next time what you want to do is like not let the person talk, or at least don't say that it's logically impossible. What you want to do is like ask a train of skeptical questions. Right? So you don't want to actually make any, you just want to say like, how do you do this? And then you want to keep asking questions when they give answers. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's correct. Is he? I think he left the live. Let me see. I don't see him. No, I don't think P. Mars is in here. Damn, he didn't even hear your suggestion. Dude, earlier Trey was on a live, and Darth Dawkins was watching it, and I kept inviting him, and he just kept declining the invite.
Yeah, I mean...
And Jack was there too.
Can't
I was
go.
ready to...
He can't come anywhere where he doesn't have, like, mute powers, or he doesn't have, like, kick powers.
Yeah, that's correct. Precisely. Yeah. He's not built for actual conversations. Damn, I lost this. All right, well, I'm in the live. Everyone here, subscribe to my YouTube. Damn, can't even point at it. Whatever. Subscribe to my YouTube, check it out. And yeah, peace.
Peace out.
I'll send you that video, by the way, of the Venus.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I'll send you the video of Venus tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, sure. For determinism.
Yeah, peace.
Yeah, I think that there's more evidence in favor of that. Yep.
Jesus.
Wait, no, you're not. Are you saying the predictability model is evidence for determinism? Yes or no?
How many times do I have to answer this?
Is the answer yes or no?
Yeah, I've already answered it like 5 times.
No,
Was your answer yes or no?
No, I've answered it 5 times. If you can't track my answer, that's on you.
If you had to say yes or no, what would you say your answer was?
I'm determined to not answer.
Holy fucking shit. Yeah, you are. This is given your fucking stupid psychology.
Oh my
You could
gosh.
not have acted otherwise.
Nice, yeah.
Crazy, let's chill.
You could not have acted otherwise given your nature. Someone like
Wait
you
a
with your
second,
psychology
Shark,
was just
but you,
predetermined to
Shark,
say stupid shit.
Yeah, we're all predetermined. That's just the way it works, Liam.
And you're predetermined to be fucking stupid.
Wait, Shark, are you able to tell that, like, I don't know what the answer is?
You don't. I mean, I don't know what you know, truthfully.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, okay, you have to say one word to clarify what the answer is. Don't you think, like, you should
No,
just say?
I don't need to clarify for you.
You're just like refusing. You're just like refusing to say yes or no.
Oh yeah, because I'm determined to have the ability
Do you
to
not want people
not
in a
answer.
conversation to understand you?
That is actually probably a goal you have, Shark.
Nice.
It is nice. That was also a question, by the way. So your answer.
Well, the only thing you do is ask questions, right? I've been
you
having
can't
questions
fucking
thrown to me
answer
for like fucking 30 minutes.
If you were able to just give a clear and concise answer to your thoughts, and you were to form it into a semi-coherent fucking view, we'd be able to stop asking you questions and give you arguments. But because you pedantically dance around yes or no questions, we're unable to continue conversations with you.
Nice. So I've already answered it, right? Obviously, humans are going to be limited to their biological nature. The biological nature impedes.
Just Liam, wait a second. I'm just trying to figure.
And every single time I try to talk, Cartesian just starts talking again, right? Neither of them can substantiate a different worldview.
Who are you fucking trying to grandstand to? Everyone here saw you get laid out.
Hang on. Was the answer yes or no?
You already know what it was.
It was a yes. I heard it.
It was yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what exactly are you saying is the predictability model?
Well, it's going to depend on what you're predicting. It's typically going to be like capabilities, right? Like whatever the thing, whatever its nature is or can do. That's the model. So we're gonna be limited to our nature.
The modal probability model. That's right.
Wait, I'm not. Okay. You're saying the predictability. Well, you're saying the predictability model depends on. It's something that depends on what you're predicting.
Wait, whatever we're predicted. Wait, hang on. Whatever we're predicting is obviously limited to whatever is predictable.
Yeah, but no, I'm trying.
Very good.
I'm trying to figure out the thing you said that was evidence for determinism. You said it was the predictability model. I'm trying to figure out what that is exactly.
The nature of something's capabilities of doing X or Y, or not doing something.
So the predictability model is the nature of somebody's capability.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be what they can do?
Okay, so
yeah, and when you say nature, though, hang on. When I say nature, though, because it's not just going to be like human nature, it's also going to be like cognitive function as well, biological limitations.
Okay, so let's just paraphrase now. So you're saying the thing that's evidence for determinism is the nature of somebody's capability to do something. Do you agree with that?
Wait, the nature of determinism?
No, did you not? Okay, let me just repeat it. I know it's a bit hard to follow some things. Okay. So you're saying the thing that's evidence for determinism is the nature of somebody's capability to do something?
No, it would be our ability to predict accurately what their nature is.
Okay, so you said the predictability.
You can ask. Listen. You can ask me 100 different times, right? My answer is going to remain the same.
Model was the nature of somebody's capability.
Just watch. Yeah. So their nature is going to be.
Still losing the debate.
Wait, no. Like every single time I try to answer, he just starts talking. Right.
My answer a million questions.
Wait,
my answer is going to remain the same. My answer is going to remain the same. Right. When we're looking at any model around predictability and pattern recognition, right? These things are going to be determined to occur based around the thing that caused it to occur. So the antecedent, whatever the antecedent that occurred before, is going to be the cause of the reaction. You can't show me an antecedent that's going to allow you a control mechanism. So now I'm going to ask you again, right? What is the control mechanism inside of you?
Jesus.
Is there a way like no one else can talk? Anyway,
so no answer. Like sincerely, like if you don't tell me how you believe that you can control or have any intentionality in you, I'm just going to mute up.
I'm not sure what you're asking me. Is that a question for Liam?
For either of you, tell me.
I think you're attributing beliefs to me that I don't hold. Maybe you're not.
Either way, I've been asking for and with the lack of evidence of any intentionality as an antecedent, I'm not going to believe that we possess anything outside of a subjective illusion. So now I'm going to go on mute until either of you can give me a model, an argument, a syllogism, whatever, for what this intentionality is. Thank you.
Let me know when this rumble's over. Wait, Liam, just wait a second. Okay,
you got it.
So are you defining the definition I heard you give of the predictability model? You said the predictability model was something about someone's capacity to do something. Is that no longer the definition you're giving?
He's going to remain muted up, remember? You're not answering his question. Yeah, so Shark is like a conversational suicide bomber. They just like run into conversations, fucking take it over, and then fucking end the conversation by doing this kind of stunt. Which is probably to their benefit, because like the more they fucking talk, the less believable what they say is.
Well, it sounds like he's not going to answer your question, but I mean, my concern is what I heard was that something was evidence.
The funniest thing, Cartesian, is for the last half an hour,
I was trying to figure out exactly what
I'm the only person answering questions, right?
Exactly.
And when I asked you one simple question, you don't answer anything, right? And so I'm cool with answering questions, as I've demonstrated for the last half an hour. I don't claim to have all the answers. I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to be the most philosophically inclined.
Yeah, you definitely don't know everything.
Right. But I'm the only person on this panel currently answering any question, right?
Tell me when this model works.
If you're ever ready to analyze your own worldview, instead of just going around and just saying your worldview has flaws, let me know. When you can explain an intentional state.
I didn't say anything about anybody's view having flaws. So look, here's the claim I'm trying to understand right now.
No claims, define intentionality. Give me evidence of intentionality.
Wait, it sounds like that's a question for Liam. Do you know I'm a different person?
Wait, mods, let's make sure that we're not muting unjustly. Let's be fair.
Nice. So just to clarify, do you believe in intentionality?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
You don't understand if you believe in intentionality?
No, I don't.
Oh, do you believe that there's something in you that you can control the intention of the outcome?
There's something in me that I don't think that's coherent. What do you mean control?
Okay, do you think that there's like a property of something that exists that allows you to control your intentions?
Maybe.
Okay, what is it? What is it? Because I'm gonna say that that's gonna be my brain. Hang on, that's gonna be my brain, right? My brain is going to be determined to make me react to stimuli based around its cognitive function. Just like you are not your brain, and you are determined to action around its cognitive function, right?
Wait, how are you defining intention?
Intention is going to be a controlled state of deciding.
Oh, so are you just asking me if I think you're in control of the choices you make?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. What is the mechanism that is going to allow you to control your actions?
I don't think there's like one specific mechanism.
Okay. Do you think you control your brain?
I think you are in large part your brain. So
you are your brain. Okay, so wait, you are your brain. Do you?
Sure.
Okay, so you think some things in your brain you can control. How do we determine whether or not you can control some things in your brain in comparison to nothing in your brain, or all of the things in your brain, really? Could you, like, for example, do you think you can determine your sexual desire?
I don't think so.
Can't determine that. Okay, so you don't have free will in terms of deciding who you want to have intercourse with, right?
Wait, are we? Are we talking about free will now? I guess not. No.
They're connected. What he's talking about is connected with your free will.
Yeah, wait, like very clearly, right? For you to control it yourself, you have to be able to believe that something in you is giving you the ability to determine or decide, we'll say decide, what happens next. And I'm asking you very clearly, what is it?
And such, yeah.
You can choose. Okay, tell me how you choose what happens next outside of a biological chain inside of you. Chemicals you don't control, dopamine, serotonin, brain function.
Just are these kind of biological processes.
Wait, hang on. Are you in control of the choices, or are you reacting to the choices?
Yeah, you're in control of the decisions you make, at least sometimes, yeah.
Right, okay, so that's my question, right? How do you know when you're in control in comparison to when you're not in control? And what is the mechanism inside of you, or even outside of you, that is allowing you to control what happens in your brain?
Yeah, so let me just break into two parts. The first part, how do you know when you're in control versus not? Okay, well, first you just need a theory, and a theory precisely about, under what cases do we say, or are we inclined to say we have free will, in which cases are we not? So some example of cases are when antecedent to an action, you deliberate for a while, and then you settle upon a given choice, and then you perform your action.
You said you
Those are
deliberate.
cases where I would say people are in control.
You say you deliberate. What is the you in this?
Yeah, I think, I accept psychological theories of personal identity, so I would just...
I'm asking you, what do you believe?
A particular collection of experiences with a lot of complicated relations and networks among them, etc.
Okay, so like just your total experience is you.
No.
Okay.
That's not even informative, because you use you in the definition. You said your total experience. That's not going to be informative.
Okay, so yours subjective experiences? No,
Saying
I said your.
If you're trying to define you and you use the word your, it's not informative.
Right. Okay, so tell me what you is again.
I already explained it.
Yeah, I didn't track. One more time, please.
Okay, so I accept psychological theories of personal identity. So when I say you, or let's say me, for example, that I there picks out certain types of experiences, at least they're causally related to certain physical states like a body, etc. I think the best way to say it is that I picks out a particular human organism that has a certain psychological history. Maybe that's one way of phrasing it.
This doesn't. You just said that you're causally determined.
No, I don't accept. I'm not convinced of determinism, but I'm a compatibilist. I think free will is compatible with determinism.
But you just said that you're causally determined. Did you not?
No.
What?
When did I say the words "I'm causally determined"?
In your definition of you.
No, I didn't.
Hey, Colby.
I don't know if you're not tracking.
Colby, Chinese food down. Glaze more.
I'll just repeat my view again. Maybe you're not tracking. So I'm not convinced of determinism. But even if determinism were true, I'm a compatibilist, and I think free will is compatible with determinism.
Define free will.
I don't have a definition of free will.
So you believe in something you can't define?
I didn't say I can't define. I just said I don't have a definition.
How do you know if it's compatible if you don't know what is compatible?
Yeah, you can know what terms mean without having a definition of them.
Wait, how do you know what a term means? Does free will just mean free will? What does that mean?
Of course free will means free will. That's a tautology.
Right, but this has no utility. You didn't tell me anything. What do you think you have inside of you that gives you, like, what is free will?
I'm not sure what question you're asking.
What is free will?
To make my own choice.
I can give you like cases under which I think people have free will, and cases where I think people don't have free will. But I don't have a definition that captures everything I want to say in all the ways we use the language.
I guess that I can accept an example of like.
Yeah, so
and then we can build off that.
Here's a case where I'll say somebody's making a free action. Let's say like somebody is preparing to, they deliberate. So they weigh reasons in favor of and against a given action. And then they essentially make a decision. That's the case where I'd say they have free will. Here's a case where I would say somebody does not have free will. Let's say I have a gun and I point it at their head and I say, if you don't perform this action, I will harm you in some way. I would say that's not a free choice. Another example of a choice that's not free.
That's consent. You just explained consent.
No, that's
if that's how you, if by consent you just mean what I just said, then yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, because you can't make
maybe not. You'd have to clarify.
Sure. So yeah. If you're just saying like you believe free will is an uncoerced or forced thought process or analysis that could be or likely is causally determined by external
I never said anything about what is or likely is determined. Second, I'm not signing off on your definition because you seem really confused. And like I said,
your definition of free will is non-coerced
because I'm not convinced there is a definition that captures all the ways I want to use language and all the ways I see people use language.
In the examples you just gave, it's going to be non-coerced deliberation. Do you agree
I
or
didn't
disagree
offer
with
a definition, nor am I accepting the one you gave.
Oh, okay. So even if it's coherent, you're not going to accept it.
Yeah, a definition can be coherent and not capture the ways I want to use the language.
But that's how you used it.
Accurate, specific.
Look, the point is that I gave you an example of a case where I'm willing to say that's a free action. I gave you an example of a case where I'm willing to say the action is not free.
Yeah.
You're asking for
non-coerced deliberation.
If you're asking for a definition, I don't have one.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So what you just said, whether you accept my definition or not, is just non-coerced.
No, I don't accept it.
Yeah, I know you don't. That's fine. So for everybody else who can
very rigorous argument as to why that captures all the ways I'd like to use the term.
No, it's not. Hang on, Cartesian. It's not all the ways, right, that you want to use it. In the two examples you gave, I found similarities and distinctions between the two, and then I created a definition.
So if the definition is supposed to capture the example I gave, that's not enough, because I think there are more cases, or perhaps I think there are cases where somebody might have free will divorced from the examples I just gave. All I was offering is an example to ostensibly paint the idea of what I'm talking about. Okay. So,
if you're just saying you believe that free will is a human's ability to deliberate without coercion, yeah, man, I think we're all going to agree that exists. But that's not the meat and juices of the conversation. Who cares? Yeah, we all know that we can do that unless you're like cognitively deficient.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know if that's my definition, but those are cases where I'm willing to say people perform free actions, and you were the one that was asking me about my views on freedom. Intentionality more generally, and why I think there are such things. So if you don't disagree with me, I'm going to return to the original question. Okay, you were saying something is evidence for determinism. The thing you were saying was evidence was the predictability model. Okay, so the claim is the predictability model is evidence for determinism. Now, what is the predictability model?
The predictability model is going to be analyzing the nature of something and trying to figure out if there is an uncontrollable or unintentional chain of events that occurs objectively. So just because I'm perceiving that things are changing in my life, or that I'm intending to do something, what's actually occurring is determined, right? And so objectively,
this is just confusion.
Nice, W.
Do you know, when let's say we're using probability theory. You know that the sort of things that would be evidence, or the sort of bearers of probability, either they're going to be sets of sentences or sets where the sets are representing events. Like you're just describing some sort of process somebody could engage in.
Wait,
it's not clear exactly if that's the thing you want to count as evidence.
Hang on. Maybe we're talking past each other, because when I'm talking about this, my prioritization is intentionality, right? So if I just change this and I reword it and I say, I don't believe in intentionality.
That's not my problem.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. Wait. With different words, all I'm saying is you and Liam and whoever else has no evidence of intentionality. And I think that in order to make a free choice, you have to have intentionality.
Okay, I didn't listen to anything you said in the last 15 seconds. Okay, so look.
That's definitely good faith.
That's something is evidence for a hypothesis. There's a few things you could be talking about. You could be talking about an observation. You could be talking about something that's true, etc. Okay, but what you just said, you just described this kind of process. You said the predictability model is this process you can do to, analyze people's behavior and such. But that's not clearly the sort of thing that is a bearer of probability in the sense that would count as evidence.
That's true.
Okay, so when you say this is evidence for determinism, it's not clear. Either you're confusing yourself, or you're talking colloquially, you're not speaking in a formal way, but it's just not clear what you're talking about. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure. And then I tried to make it clear and said that my prioritization is intentionality. And then you said, I didn't listen to what you just said.
This is the point. You're not tracking. Okay, look, repeat back to me what you think the critique is.
No.
See, you don't even understand it.
Wait, no, I'm just not going to do what you say when you won't prioritize what I'm trying to say to you. I'm not just going to do something because
Wait, Strawberry, do you mind trying to explain to him in different words what like the critique is supposed to be? I don't think he gets it.
Well, I'm not really good with words, but what I think is intention actually smashes the whole, what was that other one called where it's going to have determinism?
No, never mind.
Predeterminism.
Never mind, just forget it. But, okay, let me just try to make it simpler.
Changes predictability.
Okay, let me try to make it simpler.
Hang on, great. Strawberry, precisely. If there's intentionality, it would make it unpredictable, right?
Yeah. Right.
No,
so
no,
if,
you guys,
so hang on.
no,
so now,
no,
hang on. You got your buddy.
I shouldn't have asked you to.
Hang on. No. You got your buddy. You got your buddy to talk, and you were so excited
I thought he understood the point.
It's almost like you're the one.
He's just as confused as you are.
Right. So, if there is intentionality, then it's going to become
predictability. Yeah.
It changes the predictability
somebody
and makes
who can make me a moderator. Compass, can you make me a moderator?
Don't boot me.
Don't make him a moderator for the love of God.
So, just to clarify, you asked somebody for help. The person agreed with me,
and
you still don't want to talk about
help. I didn't ask him for help.
You did ask for help.
Look, the thought was that I got the indication, or I suspected that he understood the point I was making. And I was trying to see if there's somebody who could maybe convey it to you in a way that you'll understand. But it turns out he didn't understand the first thing about what I was saying. So let's just make it simple.
Wait, understood though.
There are certain.
How about we try somebody else? No, hang on. You think everybody else is tracking? No.
There are certain things. There are certain.
You think everybody else is tracking? Zypher, repeat what he's saying. Zypher, you were so excited. Tell me what he's saying.
Okay, in the same way.
I'm not tracking the conversation like that.
Oh, okay, so Zypher's not tracking either. Oh, that's great. Hey, wait, you want to tell me what he's saying?
Wait. That has nothing to do with his skill. Like that's not, no, that's just
nice. When he's saying that I'm not tracking and everybody else can understand, and then I go and I ask the panel, what is he saying, right? And none of you guys can tell me what he's saying.
I did not say that everybody else understands. I didn't make that claim.
Does anyone understand his point though?
Wait, give me a recap. Sorry, I was not fucking
listening. So let me just start from the beginning. So in the same way that like in propositional logic, for example, there are things that are truth bearers, and those things are propositions. In probability theory, there are things that are probability bearers. In the same way that, where like for certain things, it doesn't make sense to say that they have probabilities. Okay, now the only sort of things that can be evidence for a hypothesis is something that's a probability bearer, of course, because to say that E is evidence for H is to say that E increases the likelihood of H, so E must also have a probability. Okay, now the thing you said was evidence for the hypothesis was the predictability model. But when I asked you to explain what the predictability model is, you just described some sort of action. That's like me saying that's like me saying like riding your bike is evidence for something. It doesn't make sense because that's not an action, it's a bearer of probability in that way.
Wait, no.
Unless you're trying to specify an event or set or a proposition. No, you didn't clearly specify it. You didn't clearly specify what you were saying in a way that would count as a bearer of probability.
I wouldn't have faith on patterns because people smash patterns all the time.
Yeah, so the argument is if we get to a point, if it's more likely that we can track the patterns and we can track the predictability, right? Well, then this is going to decrease the likelihood that there's any intentionality whatsoever, or that the intentionality is just an illusion, and that there's something intrinsic and objective inside of us that's actually making us act.
So what you're saying, so let's try to just say this. What you want to say is the fact that we can predict people's behavior. That's what you want to say.
It's not just people's behavior. We can predict the elements on the periodic table and how they interact with other things. We can predict how vehicles are going to operate, their lifespan. Like we can anything that has a predictability model within its nature, right?
So you're just saying the fact that we can predict things
is determined to act in accordance with its nature, and it can't do anything about it.
So you're just saying the fact that we can predict things, that's the evidence for determinism.
Wait, no, it's not it's not just that we can predict things. It's the fact that we can predict things with consistent accuracy in a manner that doesn't necessitate intentionality at all.
Is it the fact that we can accurately predict things?
Accuracy is a requirement, yes.
Okay, cool. So look, now if the views that the fact that we can accurately predict things, that's evidence for determinism, I would question that. And the reason I would is because I think that fact is also straightforwardly expected if determinism is false, given what we have in the background. And what we have in the background are various principles relating to like laws of physics or laws of biology or the laws or postulates of any domain in science. And so if you have those principles in the background, you would also expect to be able to predict things very accurately. But all those principles are consistent with the falsity of determinism.
Wait, how?
They just don't logically entail that determinism is true.
Oh, okay. Do you require intentionality for determinism to be true?
Jesus Christ. Okay, did you understand what I just said?
Yeah, because of everything on the backdrop, we have to analyze the metaphysical.
No. Oh my God. Oh my. Okay, let's try to break it down. So we have to explain a bit about evidence. So to say something is evidence for a hypothesis, it has to be more expected on the hypothesis than the negation of the hypothesis. And there's a kind of equation for that. There's a way you can calculate what's called the base factor. So
and that's what I'm saying. Hang on.
So the point I'm trying to make
does not be 100%.
Well, if it was 100%, I think that if it was 100%, I think that would absolutely prove determinism, right? Because if there was an intentional agent, well, then this wouldn't be predictable because the agent would be determining their intentions.
Okay, look, the point. Okay, how about this? Try not to confuse yourself.
You wouldn't be able to predict.
Agent.
You wouldn't be able
terms. Why are you talking?
You wouldn't be able to prove the intentional state, and that's the flaw with this. That's why he doesn't want to talk about intentional states.
Is there anyone who can remove this guy as moderator? He's like super confused, and he's like lashing out and muting me as a result of him being confused.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get in an IQ battle right now.
I think that I'm just trying to get a statement out, and you keep interrupting, right? So, like, my prioritization for the last 5 to 10 minutes has been: do you believe in an intentional state? And you refuse to answer.
Tell me when you're done with this ramble.
Yeah. I'm done when you answer if you believe in an intentional state.
Okay, so now it's not clear that this fact is more expected if determinism is true versus determinism is false. The reason for this is because in the background body of evidence, you have all the postulates and laws of various scientific theories. Now, if all of those are in the background, we would also expect to make very accurate predictions. And all of those postulates are consistent with the falsity of determinism. So it's actually not clear that the fact you described, which is us making very accurate predictions, is evidence for determinism.
Did he answer if he believes in intentionality or not?
Can you reproduce the critique before asking me more relevant questions?
You're still waiting for the intentionality. You and Liam didn't want to tell me.
Okay, how about this? I'll ask him one more time if he can reproduce the critique. And if you aren't able to, then whatever. Like, nice, are you able to understand what the critique is supposed to be?
Right, I'm still waiting.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Okay.
How come it is that every time I ask these people, do you believe in an intentional state, they don't answer? How come when I ask these people for a worldview that they actually hold, they don't answer? Why is that the case?
Yeah, you guys are both trying to make your points here. It's a battle of
look, Shark. Look, it's
Covey, on a percentage scale, how many questions have I answered in comparison to 3 different people now?
I don't think it's the case you haven't been answering questions. You just can't say, give me something in place of what I'm supposed to give. That's the problem I see, you know? Like,
do you think that every discussion about I'm sorry, go ahead, Shark. My bad. I haven't. I've talked over you this whole time. My bad.
More questions. I just want somebody to tell me if you believe in intentions.
Yeah, the question is like a meta about the conversations we've had this entire time.
Yeah, it's just it's just like a derail question, obviously. So
maybe it's a build up.
Let's pick this Mason guy. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Bro is
still no answer about intentions.
I believe in intentions.
Shit, bro.
Wait,
thanks, Strawberry. Hey, Strawberry, I appreciate that, man.
Wait, what Mason guy?
Since you just dodged the previous question, if you want to go into something else, maybe I'll oblige, but it seems like we're going to use a waste of time.
Talk to people who can answer if they have some kind of worldview. If you don't have a worldview and every worldview just has flaws and you just critique all worldviews, well, I'm not really interested in that, right? Because
I was offering a criticism of what you were saying, which is that something was evidence for determinism, and I'm saying it's not clear that that's evidence for determinism.
I agree with that, Cart. I think Shark agrees too, though.
No, I'm not sure if he agrees. If he's able to concede, I'm happy to answer any question.
Wait, hang on. So if you're saying it's not evidence, right? By increasing, hang on. It's not absolute, but it is increasing the probability of it.
Yeah.
No, you moron. If I say it's not evidence, or it's not clear that it's evidence, I'm saying it's not clear that it increases the probability. Because what it means for something to be evidence is that it increases the probability.
It does increase the probability.
Determinism is 100%.
Let's not regress, Shark. That's what the whole point of the dialectic has been, is for you to prove how it increases the probability of only determinism.
Listen, Kobe, because the alternative necessitates intentional states. And when I asked, do they believe in intentional states? Or how? No, look at hang on. So now Kobe, he said, no, it doesn't, right? Is that a positive claim, Kobe?
Yes, but...
Perfect. So now, Kobe, he's making the claim that it doesn't necessitate it. And I say, how is this possible? But now you don't hold him to a position of explaining his positive claim. I'm asking very sincerely, tell me how it's possible without intentional states. And now the answer is...
Okay, what it means for determinism to be true is that given two things, a complete description of the physical world at time t and the laws of physics, there's only one possible future state if we make those various assumptions. Okay, what it means for there to be an intentional state is for it to be a kind of mental state, if you want to use that term, that's about certain things. Like that's a standard definition of an intentional state. Now, determinism could be false even if there are no such things as intentional states. Even if there are no people, even if there are no minds, determinism could still be false, because what it means for determinism to be true is the two postulates I described earlier. Given a complete description of the physical world at time t and the laws of nature, there's only one possible future state.
Wait, I'm not sure if you just
sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure if you just said this in what you were saying, but like, if determinism is true, doesn't that mean that there's no intentional states and everything is just a product of a cause?
No, whether there's intentional states has nothing to do with whether determinism is true or not. Unless intentional state is being used in some sort of proprietary way.
Yeah, wait, an intentional state is going to be it's going to be the actualization of control of the outcome.
Yeah, that's not the standard definition of an intentional state.
Well, that's why I told you you've been talking past me the entire time, because you haven't actually asked for my worldview. So now that I just told you,
intentional state matter is irrelevant to anything I said.
Wait, hang on. Okay, so under my definition of an intentional state, where things are actually in control of the thing that happens next, right? Do you accept that?
What are you asking me to accept?
The definition that I just gave you.
What does it mean to accept the definition?
That you understand my worldview and where
I understand how you're defining the term. Actually,
okay, so perfect.
Actually, I'm not sure. Actually, I might need to understand what you mean by terms like control.
The end is not determined yet, and God hasn't written out the whole map yet.
I might need to wait. Strawberry, can you shut up, please?
Yeah. Again, if there's just an antecedent, hang on. If there's always an antecedent, right, and that antecedent determines the next thing, and this chain continues.
I don't know what you're asking me.
Okay, do you agree that everything has an antecedent?
No.
Tell me one thing that doesn't have an antecedent.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, everything has an antecedent.
What's the argument?
I don't know if I can tell.
All right, Cartesian, you're losing it, friend.
What's the argument for that?
Oh, the principles of the principle of causality.
That's a noun. That's not an argument.
The principle of causality is not an argument?
That's a noun. That's not a arguments are made up of propositions. The principle of causality is a noun.
Every effect has a cause.
Wait, real quick. Controversial. What's your controversial compass? Can you make me a mod here?
No, he's gonna boot me because he's a little baby.
Hello.
Well, do you not make him a mod?
Look, there's a lot of people who are interrupting, saying stupid stuff. I'm trying to deal with one confused person. I can't deal with five.
One confused person. How about you take relax?
Dependent variables can't cause themselves to exist. Do you agree or disagree?
I was gonna say
what are you asking me?
Are you an atheist?
It's pretty simple. Wait. Do you think dependent variables can cause themselves to exist?
I don't think dependent variables are in causal relations. I think.
What the fuck do you think dependent means, champ?
You depend on yourself.
You might think you might use dependent as a kind of causal term, but I take
Wait,
a
no
dependent.
shit. Wait,
I take a dependent variable to be a technical term in like statistics or an experimental context where
so clearly
like
when
the
I'm
variable
asking
that changes or something. I forgot.
So clearly you understand. Clearly you understand what I'm asking you, right?
Statistical concepts are causal, nor do I think mathematical concepts.
That's fine.
Thank you, host. You're awesome.
Hang on. So, do you think that math depends on human beings?
No.
So math is mind independent. The number one is mind independent.
No, I don't think mathematical. Well, I don't think mathematical objects exist. But if by math you mean like the field of study, yeah, sure, maybe like.
Okay,
maybe
so
that's
math
like a
is
bunch of human behavior
math
and
is
such.
dependent.
But if by math you actually mean like the number one or number two.
So when I'm looking around,
I don't think there are such things as numbers.
So when I'm looking around, I see that every single thing in this universe is dependent on something else, right? Unless that thing, hang on, unless that thing is eternal, right? So I'm asking.
Let's just break it up. So the original claim you made was that everything has an antecedent cause, I believe.
Wait,
I was asking what the argument was for that.
Hang on. All dependent things necessitate a cause. Do you disagree with that?
Depends how you're defining dependent.
As opposed to independent, reliant on something else.
If you're just, that's just saying everything that has a cause has a cause.
Wait, can you tell me something that doesn't have a cause?
I agree that everything that has a cause has a cause.
No. Can you tell me one?
I'm agnostic on if there are things that don't have causes. What's the argument that everything
you would agree,
has a cause?
hang on. So wait, you would agree that right now, as it stands, it's more than likely the case that everything has a cause, right?
No.
Oh.
What's the argument that everything has a cause?
Oh yeah, that's how it appears.
What's the argument that everything has a cause?
There's no counter evidence. There's no counter evidence.
What's premise one of the argument?
There's no counter evidence. That's P1 and the fucking conclusion.
Okay, yeah, premise. There's no counter argument. Let's say, okay, premise one. There's no counter evidence. What's the next premise?
Wait, you're arguing against the idea that like everything has a cause?
Wait a second. What's the next premise?
Instead of him focusing on his worldview, he just runs to the argument.
What's the next premise of the argument?
You understand the question.
What's
you don't
the
need an
next
argument.
premise of the argument?
You don't need an argument, right?
What? Oh, so you're
tell
not
me
okay.
One
Yeah,
thing,
so you have no.
Tell me one thing that exists without a cause. Just one thing.
So you have no idea for argument for that one either. Nice.
Just one thing. Just tell me one thing.
Do you offer anything of like any substance whatsoever? Like this is getting really irritating.
Cartesian, I'm just
like
curious.
we sit here and we have this talk and he's like, you're just confused, you don't know these things, and then literally nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
I think almost every thank goodness that person's gone.
Yeah, so still waiting. Still wait. I don't know why she was kicked, but I'm still waiting, right? Still waiting for you to tell me one thing. Tell me one thing in this universe that is uncaused. One thing. Go.
I'll stick on if there is anything.
Okay, so do you think that this chair in front of me was caused?
Sure.
Do you think that this bike in front of me was caused?
Sure.
Do you think this dog in front of me is caused?
Can you get to the point? I think I've already answered what you're asking.
We have three things that we see were caused. So I have evidence that things are caused. And if I ask you,
what's the argument that everything has a cause?
Wait, you can't mute monkeyboy for the live.
What's the argument that everything has a cause?
Who kicked me? I want to know who kicked me.
Yeah, who kicked Wid? I did not.
You're the only person who can see that.
What's the argument that everything has a cause?
I don't know who did it.
Because there's only evidence for things being caused. There's no evidence of things being uncaused.
Gargling the balls.
Okay, so premise one is there's evidence for things being caused. Premise two, there's no evidence for there being things that don't have causes. And then what's the next premise?
No, the conclusion is it is more likely or probable or reasonable that everything is caused.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, what was the first premise again?
Yeah, you already went over it.
The first premise was there's no evidence that there's no evidence that there's no evidence that there is something that doesn't have a cause, right?
That was P2.
The first premise was that there is evidence that things have causes.
Yep.
And what's the conclusion of that argument?
It's more probable that everything that exists has a cause.
Okay, what's the inference rule?
I don't know.
It's not clear to me that the argument's valid.
That's great. Can you show me one thing that is uncaused?
What's the inference rule to the conclusion?
I already told you I don't know what it is.
Okay, yeah. So if you don't even have a valid argument, then I'm not sure what you're doing.
Wait, I'm showing you.
If you want to show me that the argument's valid, just tell me the inference rule.
Are you going to ask me the same thing?
Yeah. And you don't know the inference rule, of course. So look, the point is that it's not clear to me that the argument's valid. And so if you want to proceed with this argument, I'd have to know that it's valid. If not, you can just go to something else.
Yeah, wait. I'm still on the same thing of can you show me one thing that is uncaused?
I've already answered this question.
Okay, so wait, do you agree that there's evidence that things are caused?
I'm not going to answer the question until you tell me what the inference was.
Do you agree that there's evidence that things are caused?
I've already answered this one, dude.
You haven't. Do you agree that there's evidence?
I've answered this one.
Okay, so yes, we'll just say that that's yes.
Moron.
Is there any evidence that something is uncaused? Anything at all?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So we have evidence things are caused. You don't have any evidence things are uncaused, and we should believe you. Why?
I assume by evidence you're talking about like strong evidence. If you're talking about,
no, I'm asking you for any evidence. Can you give me any evidence of an uncaused cause or something that is uncaused at all? Anything?
If by evidence you mean strong evidence, no, I don't know. I don't know any.
Oh, okay. So
hang on. You know, all my views that I'm just agnostic on the proposition. Everything has a cause. And it seems like you don't even have a valid argument for that proposition. So good job.
Yeah, so Mason, I have evidence that things are caused. You have no evidence that things are not caused. Right?
I never said that.
Wait, do you have evidence that things are uncaused?
It depends. Like, by evidence, are you asking for strong evidence or any evidence?
Whatever your standard is, buddy.
I think there's extremely trivial evidence, but that's not like very interesting. There's like trivial evidence.
Right. So I have strong evidence that my dog was caused because I'm looking at my dog and I know that he came out of another dog and that dog came out of another dog. Right. I don't need P1, P2 for you to understand how reproduction works. All right. So now that I have strong evidence of my worldview, do you have strong evidence of your worldview?
Wait, what view do you think you have strong evidence for?
Oh my good God Almighty!
If it's the hypothesis that everything has a cause, I don't grant that you have strong evidence for that.
We have multiple things that were caused, but we have nothing that was.
I agree that you have evidence for it. I just don't think you have strong evidence for it.
But like, is there anything that was not?
Can you stop interrupting?
I'm the host, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, look. Okay, so anyway, I agree that you have evidence for it. Okay, and what I don't.
Wait, no, don't do that, Bart. Hey.
Wait, bro, what?
Bring Cartesian back. Sorry, that was not me.
Imagine being Bart and being salty. You just like can't have a conversation.
So sorry, Cartesian, that was not me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that Bart was like a moron. But anyway, look. So I agree that you have evidence for it. Okay. What I don't grant is that you have strong evidence for it. Now, I asked you to give an inference for this conclusion. And it's not even clear that you have a valid inference, so I'm not sure you're going to make any progress here.
No, I don't know what an inference rule is.
Inference?
Sorry, what did you say?
I don't know what an inference rule is.
Of course you don't.
Wait, what do you mean?
Wait, hang on. Could you tell me the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning?
No.
Yeah, of course you can, right? There's just things that we don't know, right?
Yeah, I agree there are things you don't know.
Yeah, there's also things you don't know.
Anyway, let me just recap. So let me just recap all the critiques I have. The first thing is that you said the fact that we can make accurate predictions is evidence for determinism. Okay, I said that's not clearly true. First, it's not clear why we should expect under determinism to make accurate predictions. That's actually not clear. Secondly, it's not clear how even if that were expected under determinism, how that wouldn't just be straightforwardly expected under indeterminism, given what we have in the background. That was the first critique.
Are we pivoting in a way?
Now, the next thing was you said you had an argument for the claim that everything has a cause, but you had no argument for that, or at least you didn't give one that was clearly valid. Okay, that's the next critique. Now, if you want to talk about something else, I'm happy to talk about something else.
Do you reject the principles of causality?
So either you can give the argument that it's determinism, or you can actually give the argument that everything has a cause. I'm happy to hear both arguments. But
do you accept or reject the principles of causality?
What's the principle of causality?
All dependent variables necessitate a cause.
Are you just saying that?
Of course you don't know what the principles of causality is. But you see the difference is when you don't know something, I just explain it for you really simply. Right? When I say I don't know something, you're just like a pompous elitist asshat who probably has never shown your face a day in your life.
Are you just saying everything that's dependent has a cause?
That's what I've been saying for the last 10 minutes.
And by dependent, what do you mean?
Dependent is going to be not being self-formed or self-created.
Does dependent just mean having a cause?
I told you what it meant, dumbass. Did you track?
Does that just mean having a cause?
I gave you my words. I understand that you want to twist the words.
You said not being self-created.
Yeah, not being self-created. No, the answer is not being self-created. Is that the same thing as having a
cause?
Not being self-created. How about that?
Is that the same thing as having a cause? Yes or no?
Did you understand my words or no?
Yeah, you said not being self-created. I'm asking, does that mean the same thing as having a cause?
Obviously.
Yes. Okay. So let's be clear. You're asking me if I agree with this proposition. Everything that has a cause has a cause. You're asking me if I disagree with that.
Well, obviously you're going to agree to that.
Okay. Good job, you fucking moron. Okay.
Nice.
Now the claim I was
nice.
disputing is the claim that everything has a cause. Obviously, I agree that everything that has a cause has a cause. Obviously. Now, what I was disputing was that everything has a cause. You brain dead moron. Okay,
wait, no, you know the funny part? Hey, Mason, you know what's funny? I never made the claim. Hey, Mason, you know what's funny? I never made the claim that all things have a cause, right? I never made that claim. Hang on, Mason, do you think?
Yes or no?
Wait, no, all dependent variables have a cause. That was my claim from the beginning.
All you're saying is a fucking tautology, moron.
So wait, are you disagreeing with the tautology?
That everything that has a cause has a cause.
Are you saying,
who the fuck would disagree with that?
Mason, are you saying this entire time you've been disagreeing with the tautology?
I'm saying what I was disputing was the claim you made earlier that everything has a cause. Now, if you're just saying a fucking tautology that everything that has a cause has a cause, yeah, I agree that P implies P. Nice job.
Nice. Okay. So what are you disagreeing with right now?
Now, if you have anything interesting to say,
what are you disagreeing
moron,
with?
if you have something that's not a tautology to say, how about you offer that?
So Mason, just to clarify, this entire time you've been flustered and enraged because you've been disagreeing with the tautology?
Okay, now, sorry, my bad. I actually made a charitable assumption.
Oh, no.
So when I'm talking with people, there are these things called conversational norms, and I charitably assume that the person I'm talking to is trying to say something substantive. I don't assume that the person is saying something completely non-substantive. Okay, this is a very common social norm. Maybe you should pick up on it. Okay, now if you have something that isn't trivially true to say, okay, if you have something that isn't trivially true to say, then go ahead and say it. By the way, you also made the claim explicitly that everything has a cause. You've made a few different claims.
Wait,
okay, so you also did say
the focus has been the principles of causality.
Now,
so, like,
do you have anything non-trivial for it?
I understand you're flustered because you're disagreeing with the tautology, right? All I've been saying is a tautology. If you're done having a manic episode, then maybe you could try to call your mom or your dad, ask them if they're proud of you yet, and then we can move on with the day.
Okay, that was very interesting. But look, I've already pointed out.
Also, really quick, Kovi, are you atheist, Christian, agnostic? Or Kovi, are you atheist, Christian, agnostic?
We get it, Mason. It's a tautology. We get it, bro. Are you still going to be mad at this?
Anyway, I was already pointing out. Now, you said a few different things.
So you're still going?
You said this kind of tautology, but you also did say that everything has a cause. Okay, you said both.
The standard
the claim that I was taking issue with was the original substantive claim that everything has a cause.
Hang on.
Now, obviously, when I deciphered this kind of latter claim, obviously it's tautology.
I understand. So at the beginning, did I say
the wild assumption?
Hang on. Is it true or false that I said that I'm basing this off of the principles of causality? True or false?
Something substantive.
True or false? I said that this is based off of the principles of causality.
Let me know when you're done rambling.
Yeah. True or false? This has been from the beginning understood as the principles of causality. True or false?
Well, sorry, can you repeat the question?
No. You don't listen?
Okay, then I don't know what the question was. Anyway, do you have an argument?
No, I got you. Don't worry. Again. So from the beginning, true or false?
Is there anybody who can stop
principles of causality? True or false? From the beginning, I expressed that this is about promoting the principles of causality.
Can you take away his mod perms?
Wait, Shark, should we be muting him as much as we are?
He's not. Coco, here, do you want to ask him? From the beginning, did I say or not say that I'm promoting the principles of causality? That's the question.
I haven't been paying much attention. Somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know if you said those exact words or not.
Oh, but I did. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if you said those exact words, but my concern was the claim that everything has a cause. I don't dispute the tautology you were just forwarded. Okay, do you have an argument for the claim that everything has a cause?
No, I would never make that claim.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. Now let's return to the original issue. The original claim was that the fact that we make specific predictions is evidence for determinism. What's the argument?
Dog, we've already gone over this. You literally just talked yourself into a corner.
What's the argument that the fact that we make accurate predictions is evidence for determinism?
You and Liam both did horrible. I got to be honest, man. You literally just screamed because you disagreed with the tautology. So if you want to go, listen, dog, listen. I'm sorry that you're mad. You screamed at a tautology.
What's premise one of the argument?
If you want to debate someone else, you let me know. Right? I've been doing this for like an hour. I'm gonna eat real quick.
What's premise one of the argument?
I'm gonna eat real quick. If you want to do this later and you come back refreshed, let me know. All right?
What's the argument that that's evidence for determinism?
Okay, 8. Mason, I've been having this discussion. Me, Liam, who else was here? We've been having this discussion. We've been trying to get to like what the argument is. I don't know if the argument's like playing hide and seek or.
Yeah, I mean, well, Liam's kind of dumb, so.
Okay, look, good. Give him a break.
Okay, now if anybody else wants to ask him, like let's say he's more willing to talk at a different time. Maybe one thing somebody could ask him is, hey, you said that the fact that we can make accurate predictions is evidence for determinism. What's the argument for that? And maybe he'll actually give the fucking argument then.
Yeah, I'm working on something really quick.
Yeah, God is good, man.
Wait, Kobe, are you atheist? I'm assuming you're atheist.
Yeah, all arguments for God fail. Yeah. Okay.
Logical subset of the universal. The approval exists in particular as a logical subset of a universal.
I don't know what you mean when you say I'm a logical subset of a universal.
If I can't ask questions, then neither can you. So we're going to play by the same rules.
What do you mean by a logical subset of a universal?
I don't have to answer that if you won't answer my questions.
Okay, if you're gonna use gibberish terms and not explain that,
if you're going to use gibberish terms, if you're going to use gibberish terms,
any ramble you want to go on, I'm just going to ask you what the term means.
Look, if you're just going to ramble, I'm going to ask you what the term means.
What does it mean to be a logical subset of a universal?
A logical subset in a Platonic sense or in a categorical sense per Aristotelian scholastic reasoning or categorical logic.
You're just spewing more gibberish.
All right, listen, the mere fact that you don't understand the vocabulary.
Are you brain damaged?
I'm much smarter than you because you apparently can't keep up with my vocabulary.
Dropped on your head?
Wait, I'm sorry you can't comprehend my vocabulary, you dumb
motherfucker. I'm going to ask you one more time if you dodge whatever.
Okay,
what is a logical subset of a universal?
A logical subset is the particular.
Like, are you just saying that I satisfy some predicate?
No, I'm saying a logical subset is a particular. For example, a logical subset of a universal will be something the effect of the universal would be cat.
All you were saying there is just I'm a particular thing.
Excuse me. I have your contradiction right here.
All you were saying there is I was
excuse me, can I finish? Yes or no?
Yeah, so to be clear, the question I'm looking for you to answer is how you're deriving the negation.
Okay, so here's how it is. It's a reductio ad absurdum. Here's how. If your statement, the good, is merely what I approve of, your good, and your approval are particulars. Your specific approval is particular, the category of approval. The category of approval is universal. Your particular I is a specific of the category of I as a universal. It's a particular of that category. And your concept of good is a particular of the category of the good in and of itself. Now, because what you approve of,
I don't know what you mean by the last part. There's two problems. First, when you said
I'm explaining.
There's two concerns. First, when you said I is a subset of universal I take I to be an indexical term, and the only object that term is going to pick out is me.
Excuse me, I'm explaining.
The second problem is I don't know what you mean by when you say it's a subset of the larger good. I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do. Yes, you actually do. If you know what it means, and yes, you do. If you know what it means in particular, then you know what it means in universal. You do know what it means in particular, hence you do know what it means in the universal. That's modus tollens. Gotcha.
You're not following. You're not following.
That's modus tollens. Gotcha, bitch.
So you said.
Modus tollens. Gotcha, bitch. Modus tollens. Gotcha, bitch.
Of course, like we agree.
Modus tollens.
I got you. Use the term good. I'm saying I approve of it.
Gotcha, bitch.
And then you saying that good or my good is a subset of the larger good.
Hey, modus tollens. Gotcha, bitch.
And I'm asking you, what do you mean by the larger good?
So here we go. Not the larger good, the universal of the good. If you say what is good in particular,
what do you mean by the larger good?
The universal category of what the actual particular notion of the good is a member of. The set.
The set of what?
The set of all that is good.
Well, how are you defining good there?
In your particular terms. I'm using your definition.
So you're saying the set of all the things I approve of?
The set of what? The set of anything that can be approved of by any individual at all.
That's not how I defined good.
That's fine. That's the point. That's
you
the
just said you were using my definition. Now you're saying you're not.
Watch this. I'm showing you the contradiction in your perspective. That's the actual.
You just said.
Excuse me.
You just said by good
that's
there.
The P is
you're
not
using
P.
my definition.
That's the P. That's
then
the
you
P.
said.
Excuse me. That's the P is not P.
What could be approved of by anyone or any person.
That's the
that wasn't my definition of good.
That's the contradiction.
I define good as what I approve of.
That's the contradiction of your worldview. That's actually the contradiction I pointed out, and you just admitted it was there. I got you. If you're defining the good as what you specifically approve of, and you're taking the term good as a particular of anything to which is good in the larger category of what can be called good as a set, as a member of that set, your concept of the good is in contradiction to what is good as a matter of universal principle, contradicting your use of the good, negating your moral theory. Got you.
Like if this wasn't apparent before, I think you've confused yourself even further. So let's just try to go back to the baseline.
Hey, how's it feel to
so
lose?
You said the contradiction is it is the case that good is what I approve of, and it's not the case that good is what I approve of.
No, this is what I'm saying.
I take the first proposition to be analytically true. I'll grant you that.
No, that's not my argument.
I'm asking you how you derived negation. Okay, now try to relinquish yourself from all the gibberish you've confused yourself.
I'm showing you this.
Just try to derive the negation.
Wait, are you saying that all good and evil is subjective?
Are you asking me that?
No, I'm asking you, Carter.
No. Hey, Apostle, here's what he's stating. Let me summarize what he's stating. He's stating that.
No.
I am going to summarize your statement.
No, I want Carter.
He's already super confused.
Allow him to correct me after.
No, Deathless. I want him to explain what he's saying.
Allow him to correct me after.
Look, Apostle, can you just be quiet and wait for this to end?
No, because I can't understand a single thing Deathless is saying.
Let me just make sure I follow, or not that I follow. Let me make sure you follow. Do you even understand what I'm asking you to do when I ask you to derive negation?
Yes,
do you know what I'm asking you?
Yes, you're asking where's the contradiction? Right. Okay, I just showed you.
No, hold up, wait. But hold up. But let's say when I ask you to derive negation, what do you think I'm telling you to do?
What do you think I am doing?
I don't know what you're doing. That's why I'm asking. Okay. What do you think I'm telling you to do?
So why do you keep interrupting me when you don't know what I'm doing, presuming that you know what I'm doing?
What do you think I'm telling you to do?
What do you think I am doing?
Because it's not clear that you're doing what I'm telling you to do.
So then why don't you wait for me to actually clarify what I'm doing?
Because before we go into another pit of gibberish, it might be good to make sure you actually understand what the task is. Because if you actually understand what the task is, it might make it more efficient with regards to you answering the question.
So then what is the standard of the task by which we're to objectively measure the contradiction?
So you're not going to answer it, so let me just inform you. When I ask you to derive negation, what I'm telling you to do is show how it follows from the previous commitment.
I'm showing
that good is what I approve of. Show how it follows from that that it's not the case that good is what I approve of.
I'm going to show you.
Okay. So can you just repeat back to me what I just said?
No, I'm going to jump right into the argument. Here's how it is.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you. Here's
what
how
did
this
I
works.
say?
I'm not answering that and going into the argument. You said that the good is what you approve of, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's a statement in particular, right?
Yeah, and by the way, that statement is true by definition.
Okay.
Because that's just using the word.
If the statement is good of what you approve of, then that's not true by definition. That's only true if it's coherent with the universal from which it's derivative. Only then is it a priori. A priori propositions don't apply.
A priori propositions don't apply. So I said, so good just means what I approve of. So when I say good is what I approve of, that's effectively saying good is good.
A priori propositions don't apply to statements in particular. They only apply to categorical statements. That's a posterior statement or a synthetic statement.
Do you think do you think good is analytically true?
No.
Huh?
So here's what you're stated. This is the contradiction.
Is the statement good is good? Is that analytically true?
Deathless, know there's 50 people in this room who can't understand you. So why can't you use simpler words?
Wait, Apostle, can you shut up?
This is actually how philosophy works if you're actually an expert in it. So this is how this works. Let me say. All right. Let me break it down.
Is the statement good is good? Is that analytically true?
Let me break it down. I'm going to break it down to layman's.
Is the statement good is good analytically true?
No, it's a tautology.
Jesus Christ.
Tautologies can't be analytically good.
Did you just say tautologies can't be analytically true?
They can't be analytically good. Or, excuse me, they can't be analytically true. They can't be analytically true.
What do you think it means for something to be analytically true?
It means to be self-evident in its own level of definition.
No.
So, excuse me. Yes, it does. I have the definition right now.
No, it just means it's true in virtue of the meaning of the terms.
That's not what it means.
Okay, look,
that's
I
not
guess
what it
I'm going to
means.
have to teach this guy
That's
some
not
basic
what it
things.
means.
So
Excuse me.
if I make the statement bachelors are unmarried men, that's analytically true.
A proposition
Right, because
is
the
a
word
true.
bachelor
A
means
proposition,
unmarried man.
excuse me.
So if I make the statement good is what I approve of, again, that's analytically true. Because in this case, the word good just means what I approve of.
That's a contradiction in terms, and here's why. A priori
no, wait, before you go on, but you understand
true.
why I'm saying it's analytically true, right?
A priori true means that the statement in and of itself.
Now you're just confused again.
You don't even know what I'm saying, so how do you know if I'm confused if I didn't finish?
Okay, let's just flip through. Do you understand now that what an analytic truth is supposed to be?
An analytic truth is a statement which the pure meaning of it is the actual evidence of its truth.
No.
That's exactly how Immanuel Kant defines
it's a statement that's true. Okay, look, no, it's so you can have statements that are true.
We understand
where the meaning of the terms, or the meaning of the terms is evidence for the proposition being true.
So
and the proposition still might not be analytically true.
Here's your strategy.
Okay, what it means for the proposition to be analytically true.
Here's your strategy.
Is that it's true solely because of what the terms mean.
Here's your strategy. Here's your strategy.
So just take the example I gave earlier.
Excuse me. Here's your strategy.
Unmarried man.
Here's your strategy.
Okay, that's analytically true because the term bachelor just means unmarried man.
Working so far
Cartesian, you've already proved the fact that he's using big words without meaning. So like Cartesian.
So how I'm going to actually explain this is by turning the volume off so I don't have to hear you. And I could actually talk uninterrupted because it's as simple as that.
Okay, now let's just try this again. You understand what analytically true is?
By knowing that like 60 people are here to understand you.
True proposition because it's a statement in particular. Analytic propositions can only be true categorically if they are categorical statements. According to Immanuel Kant, who said a statement cannot be treated as a categorical unless, of course, it can be transmuted into a universal law.
I guess he's going to like talk himself out eventually.
Violates the categorical imperative and subsequently falsifies itself. Because it's a moral categorical that you're positing, and if it's a moral categorical to which you're positing, true a priori, it must be subordinate to the Kantian law of the categorical imperative, to which it violates. Now, because your statement itself violates the categorical imperative, and it cannot be converted into a universally true propositional true for everyone, it by itself entails a fundamental contradiction between the particular and the universal, falsifying your argument and falsifying your moral code.
Wait, Deathless, I think you're following what
I'll just let you. Well, 1 second.
Just like that, you lose. Just like that, you lost.
Yeah, I'll just let you have the last word there, and I'll just, as long as everybody heard what you just said, I'll just let you have the last word.
You lost. I just took your balls, bitch. You lost. You lost.
Deathless, I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm pro-life too, but like I think you're completely lost. Because like the things you keep on saying, Cartesian had to correct you in like many words. So Cartesian,
he didn't have to correct me. He's not using it correctly.
Wait, Cartesian.
So like
Cartesian, because I think Deathless didn't get your worldview correct. I don't think Deathless got your like worldview correct. Cartesian, can you like re-explain, like reiterate?
Apostle, here's what he said. Let me help you with what he said. Let me tell you the law of logic his statement violates. He's basically attempting to reason from a priori true propositions which are true in particular.
Yeah, sorry, what was your question?
Excuse me, that's a direct violation of a law of logic which governs propositions of a moral consideration true a priori. His statement violates a moral law which governs a logical law which governs the truth of moral considerations.
But this guy's like too dumb to realize how dumb he is by doing this. He's completely like lost.
Guess what? I beat you. You just lost to the dumbest motherfucker in the room. How's it feel to lose? Okay, so you violated the categorical imperative. Do you know what that means? Okay, you don't.
Yeah, Apostle. It sounded like you had a question earlier, but if you
here's how we've beaten you. This is how we've beaten you. You're stating that what is good.
Who's doing the muting?
Who's muting right now?
Yeah. We're not going to do mute.
Okay, so this is what's going on.
Deathless, you do. Yeah, so Deathless. So you are going to give somebody an opportunity to respond.
That's fine. Here's the contradiction in his worldview. Here's how we beat it.
Cartesian, you're going to have to do the same.
So here's the contradiction in his worldview. He's stating that his statement, the good is what I approve of, and he's stating that that is true by definition. But that's only possible if, according to the law of logic, which is called the categorical imperative, what he's stating in particular can be turned into a universal law to which it's true in every other instance to which it's applied. Now, if what is good in and of himself is good in and of itself as a matter of principle, then the categorical imperative, anything anyone else approves of, is the good in itself, even if it contradicts his statement. And because it doesn't satisfy the criteria of the categorical imperative, it contradicts the categorical imperative, which falsifies his statement. Now, because it falsifies his statement, it falsifies the fundamental proposition that's at the bottom of his moral system. And once it falsifies the fundamental proposition, which is at the bottom of his moral system, it falsifies his moral system. Once it falsifies his moral system, it posits a disidenticality between what he approves of and the good, and it falsifies the actual identicality between the good and what he approves of. And that means he has failed to actually posit the identicality of the good with his approval. From that, the two are decoupled. He no longer has a moral justification for anything in his worldview based off of what he approves of. And that falsifies his theory. So that's how I beat him.
Yeah, I just realized everything you said was true.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
What just happened? What?
Bobby, I don't know.
He just realized that everything I said was true. Hold on. I got to give compliments to that, because that was the most amazing act of intellectual heroism that I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Wait. Okay. All right. I got a headache. Bobby, I got a headache, dude.
Here's the problem that I have with philosophy. When all these, I'm a simple guy, kind of dumb. When all these big words get thrown,
you don't understand the extreme amount of integrity this man just showed.
No, I do. Granted,
that was completely fucking mind-boggling. That somebody.
I don't know if he was being sarcastic.
You guys actually thought I was being serious there.
Oh.
Yeah. No, we were trying to establish whether or not you were being serious or whether you were not. If you were being sarcastic, then just please establish that. Wait.
You guys are like so
establish. No. Establish. Just say that you were not serious, and then we can move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll continue.
Okay. Yeah.
So what we did. What we did is I was able to decouple the identity claim, where the approval which he approved of as the good was the good in of itself. I was able to actually show that what he approved of cannot actually be identical with the good, because if that's what it is, according to the categorical imperative, whereby moral statements must be categorically true to all who make the same statement, others could do the same in direct contradiction to what he himself is stating, and that would falsify the actual satisfaction of the criteria, which falsifies the identity claim between what he merely approves of and what is the good. That subsequently falsifies his entire moral framework on a priori predicates of pure reason, and subsequently he no longer has a moral theory by which to justify pro-choice.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Glock has now entered the room. Glock, what's on your mind?
Thanks so much.
Would you like to clean this up? Because this looks like a mess to me.
Big sister, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Hello.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing great.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask Cartesian, I'm a little bit confused on the contradiction he's saying you're making. Were you able to, because I walked away from my phone, were you able to get that in the form of P and not P?
Yeah, he was saying that it's along the lines of good is what I approve of, and it's not the case that good is what I approve of. I was like, okay, well, I was just asking him, well, how you kind of get into negation there?
It violates the law of logic. It violates the law of logic, which governs moral reasoning. The name of that law of logic.
Don't embarrass yourself any further. Come on,
dude. You already lost. I already beat you. So the law of logic is called the categorical imperative. Now, Immanuel Kant.
It's not a law of logic.
It's a law of in Kant's system. It's a law of logic which governs moral reasoning.
No,
not a law of logic. Yes, it is. It's a law of logic. It's a logically derived law, which in and of itself.
No, it's not logically derived.
Yes, it is. Do you know how we arrived at it?
Which philosopher thinks the categorical imperative is a law of logic?
Immanuel Kant said in Critique of Pure Reason, it is purely logically derived from categories.
Where did he say that the categorical imperative was a law of logic?
He says it's a law of logic, not in the fundamentals of applying to epistemology, but fundamentals of applying to moral reason.
I didn't say anything about epistemology.
Right, I know that. That's what I said. I'm not saying anything
about
epistemology.
Do you know what a law of logic even is?
Yes, I do know what it is.
What is it?
A law of logic is a law which governs logical thinking. Now, you could have laws of logic which govern laws of epistemology, and you could have laws of logic which govern laws of ethics.
It's unclear. What do you mean by governs logical thinking?
So I'm going to go back to answering her question, because I already contradicted you, and I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, you can dodge if you want. That's fine.
Yeah, I am. I already won the argument, and you're trying to bait me back into actually.
You're the only one who thinks that.
categorical imperative, you lose, bitch. Gotcha. So
yeah, the categorical imperative is not a law of logic.
So Glock, here's what it is. Immanuel Kant, who was a Prussian genius in the 18th century, discovered that there was something called the Now, what a categorical is that which belongs to a category. An imperative is that which is obligated or necessary. So, for example, let's just say that you have dogs. If you have dogs as a category, it would be an imperative for a dog to behave according to the definition of the category dog. If it didn't obey the category of the dog, it would not be in the category of dog. So if something belongs to a category, it is imperative that it actually exhibit the properties, the behaviors, and the characteristics of that logical category. So that's the actual logic at the foundation. Here's how his statement violates the categorical imperative. He's stating that the category to which approval belongs to is the good. So his approval, something is good if he approves of it, which means that the good and the approval have an identicality between them. Now, if the good and what he approves them are identical, meaning it's approved of, and that makes it good, and it's good, subsequently that requires it to be consistent with approval, then what we should be able to do with this is apply the categorical imperative to it to test it. And it should also result in a consistent proposition on the other side of it that agrees with the original conclusion. So if it is good, if what is good is what he approves of, then it should also be the case that what I approve of is also the good, because that's the categorical imperative. The law of the categorical imperative basically states you cannot reason or cannot do that which cannot be turned into a universal law to which is obligatory for everyone. So in this particular case, what he's saying is this: if what he's saying is true, it could be commuted into a law which is universal for everyone to have to obey. So if this is the case, then what anyone also says, he's just muted. And what anyone also says would be the good merely because they approve of it. Now, if two people have contradictory approvals, then it cannot actually be good as merely what you approve of, because you have two people approving two different things that contradict one another. That satisfies the categorical imperative, which says contradictions cannot exist in reality.
Hold on, Deathless, he dropped. Glock, do you have an accurate critique? Yeah, he dropped.
I don't accurate critique. I think 90% of people don't understand, and I think out of that, 10% of people understand philosophy, and I think they all are saying.